John Boffman asks, in a way, he's talking about watching Return of the Jedi with his son, and that scene where Luke comes in and uses the Force choke on Jabba's palace guards made him uncomfortable after 30 years. It still makes him uncomfortable seeing that scene. So I thought that'd be an interesting conversation to tackle here, because that was not just the first time that we saw Luke use a power like that, but it was really the first time that we saw Luke as a true Jedi Knight. Because think about it. A year or so ago on the timeline, Luke gets beaten down by Vader. He wasn't that skilled of a swordsman. He was just learning how to levitate rocks on Dagobah, while balancing Yoda. So this was like a matured Luke. And we know from the deleted scenes he had just finished his green saber prior to all this. And so I wish they would have kept that in the original cut. But my point is, I took it always as, man, that's really dark of Luke, because we've seen Vader do that. So, like, what's, like, your reaction? Like, 30 years later, Jesse, you watched, or, well, not that long for you, but, like, 25 years, whatever it is. Does that scene make you uncomfortable, or do you just really dig it?
I still love it. Great Jedi, by the way. Okay, just bear with me on this here is, okay, so let's look at Luke's timeline. In New Hope, he runs into Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan is, he's supposed to, teach him, but it's just not how it pans out. Obi-Wan,
decides to go die for a noble cause or something. What a rebel.
And then you get the events of Empire Strikes Back. He doesn't immediately return to Dagobah, obviously, because there's a lot going on in between that. He has to construct a new lightsaber. Now in the EU, you had Shadows of the Empire, which does kind of give backstory to that, which is still a great backstory. But if you think about it, he doesn't really have like a constant teacher to tell him that's not really a good ability to use or something like that. But also, I mean, when you combine everything in the larger picture, Anakin used Force choke numerous times in the Clone Wars series. I mean, he obviously kind of uses it. I think he uses it a couple times in
I don't know.
Revenge of the Sith.
No.
But I mean, he's kind of on that brink where, I mean, I guess he is kind of dark side.
Well, yeah, he used it on Padme. That's kind of like how he killed her. I like it because it's kind of a reflection on who his father is, right? So Luke uses it. Yeah. And it's kind of a dark side thing. He's all in black. Guess who used it 2 movies ago? Vader dressed up all in black. But David, does it make you uncomfortable?
No, it doesn't, because I don't like to think that he killed the guards. I more like to think that he just knocked them out.
No, they're dead.
You think they're dead?
They're absolutely
I don't
dead.
actually think that. I never thought they killed him.
I think he choked him, had the tongue receded in the throat, and then they gagged on their own vomit and died.
I think he just asphyxiated them until they passed out. And he's like, "Good night, have a mint."
Yeah, I kind of think that he didn't kill him. He either put him in the sleeper hold kind of thing with the Force, or if anything, it was just, you don't want to mess with me, get out of the way.
A lot of people get on these tangents that there's good Force moves and bad Force moves, and I don't believe that. I think it's all about how you use it.
Yeah, it's all about intent, right?
Like, you can't tell me that, the generator goes out, and you decide to use a little Force lightning as, a Jedi to get that kick started back up. You're not, frying somebody in their,
Well, again, it's because, we see Vader choke and kill a lot of people. Palpatine is very prominent with lightning. So I think people associate those Force abilities with dark side users. Again, so far, I mean, freezing a laser bolt, we've only seen Kylo do that, who's obviously definitely, tinkering with the dark side of the Force. In this fan film, Darth Vader is using it, so people are assuming that is a dark side ability because we haven't yet to see a light side user do that.
And that's where I think you can really explore the lore, and that's where I'm excited about where Star Wars goes in the future, because I would love a deep dive into the Force and how it works and why. Go into why the Jedi Order said we don't do these things and here's why. I'm interested in that.
Yoda has to have some ability with Force lightning, because when Count Dooku shocks him, he balls it up and grabs it and dissipates it. So you wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't know how to control the Force lightning.
Yeah, there seems to be some understanding there, right?
Yeah. To me,
I really like the scene in the Force choke because it further entices my desire to see Luke dark side. George Lucas originally wanted Luke to go to the dark side in Return of the Jedi, and they decided it was best not to do that. Well, George was basically told, we're not going to do that. But for all the years since the first time I saw Return of the Jedi, in between seeing, The Force Awakens, because I mentioned, one of my hopes was, I want Luke experimenting with Sith alchemy, and I want him to be toying around with those powers, and that's his research to try and find balance with the Force. And then that would ultimately lead him to understanding that balance of the Force is achieved differently. It's not by possession by one person of light and dark. So that has always been a thing for me. And to see Luke coming into the all black, this is a tough looking dude. This is a refined Jedi Knight. Like, that just really excites me, and lets my imagination go crazy, and just what are the kind of adventures that kind of Luke had, which we also get a taste of with the campaign story in Battlefront 2. You get around looking for artifacts with Luke, and it's just cool to see him in his early 30 prime.
Well, again, it all kind of, he has this craving for knowledge. Obviously, there's a reason. I don't want to spoil it because so many people have not played the Battlefront 2, but like.
Do it.
You see the star compass in the last. That made me excited when I saw the last.
You're rewarded for investing yourself in all the canon.
And the fact that he's gonna burn the sacred tree, and then Yoda does it for him, and the sacred texts were in there. It's like that's that knowledge and everything. So it's just like. Yes, he's obviously wanting to learn more about the Force and everything. So. Maybe there are good abilities or bad abilities, But the thing is, he doesn't always. He's been alone for the most part.
Well, he had Obi-Wan, his ET looking friends.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan doesn't exactly appear to him like right off the bat. Obi-Wan doesn't sit there in ghost form and verbally tell him breathe or meditate or something like that.
That's why I feel like Luke has to have. Well, Luke has Kenobi's journal. We know that from the comics that Luke in A New Hope found texts from Obi-Wan.
And that was how he was able to construct his own saber.
I could buy the argument that there are abilities that you can utilize, both good or bad, that lead you towards the dark side. Like Force Choke, you can use it benevolently and squeeze the last little bit of toothpaste out of the tube. Or you can, knock somebody out and put them to sleep or kill them. Force. Let's be honest. What are you more likely to do with that? Oh, well, you're kind of chapping my ass today, Jesse. Good night.
Vulcan neck pinch.
We'll drag you out to the car when I'm ready to leave. So I think there are things that can lead towards worse, but I don't think that Force abilities are inherently good or bad.
That's why I like Grey Jedi, because they don't care.
It's a stupid theory. As far as Grey Jedi is concerned. But I will tell you that if they ever do another re-edit of The Return of the Jedi, they better not take out that Force Choke, because we all freaking love it. What do you think about the Force Choke? Does it make you uncomfortable? Or was that kind of scary the first time you saw it? Have you come to love that scene as you've gotten older? Let us know in the comments below.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.